Hi, I'm Laura, Omniyogagirl, and I've had a lot of questions sent to me on Instagram about how to use a wheel for learning how to handstand. So it took me quite a lot of figuring out, and I asked lots of people lots of questions, and some really lovely people helped me kind of figure out all the different elements that you need to put together to use the wheel and start getting upside down in a handstand. So I thought it might help if I make this tutorial to kind of really break it down for you. So first, your setup. So to begin with, I'd really recommend having your wheel up against the wall with one block in front of it just to hold it in place. Then you know you've got the wall behind you. It really helps with the confidence, and you can just play with kicking up with different strengths and seeing how much power you need in your kick up or jump up in order to kind of get your hips up and over enough. So obviously once you feel a bit more confident and you want to try in the middle of the room, then you need to set up on a mat to give the blocks a bit of extra traction, and have one in front of the wheel and one behind the wheel. So this is kind of kept nice and solid and in one place. So I had loads of questions when I was trying to work out how to do this. The first one was probably, what part of my head is it that I put on the wheel? Is it the crown of my head, back of my head, my forehead? So after a bit of trial and error, and getting lots of feedback and help from other people, it's kind of your hairline that you want to be putting on the wheel. So not the top, not the back, and not the forehead. It gives you kind of a nice solid foundation and puts your head in kind of the right position that you're eventually going to want it to be in for handstand, and doesn't put too much pressure on your neck. Okay, so my second question was, where do I put my hands? So I kept trying for ages. Obviously eventually with better alignment you want your hands to be closer to the wheel, but to start off with you definitely want them a bit further back. So your arms will end up angled once you've gotten up. But it's just going to help you at first to kind of get into the right position and help you lean a bit more into the handstand. So as I say, eventually as you practice and you get more confident and stronger at your alignment, you want to start moving the hands closer in towards the wheel. So I found a good distance was at first to have my fingertips kind of in line with the middle of the block. So then my next question was, what kind of jump or entry method do I want to be doing up into handstand? So I like tuck shapes. I feel safer in them. All your weight is back towards where you came from, and it just feels it's more stable to me, and there's less chance of going all the way over. So I kept trying tuck jumping and wasn't getting anywhere fast until Northern Star Yoga, a friend of mine called Pia, advised me to try frog jumping. So keep the knees apart. It kind of gives you a bit more bounce in order to be able to get your hips up high enough. And then once you're up, most of the time, at least at first, you'll find yourself coming back down really quickly. So the next sort of problem to solve is how to stay up there. So once you're up there, you want to be kind of tilting your hips a little bit towards the back of the wheel, because you want to stack the weight properly so you can kind of stay there and not come all the way back down. Also, have a little bit of give in your arms as you jump up. So to prepare to jump, you want your feet probably about a foot's distance or so away from the block. You want your hands with the fingertips in line with the middle of the block, about shoulder width apart or slightly wider, especially if that's easier at first. So from here you want to come forwards, and you're placing your hairline on the wheel. So in order to prepare, you really want to come up on your tiptoes, squeeze the core in, and then as you jump, you want to bend the elbows and get the hips up. So once you've managed to get your hips up and you've bent the elbows to give you that little bit of give on the jump up, then you really want to push down into the hands, push into the shoulders, and squeeze your core. Okay, so I'll try and demonstrate it for you. I'm not sure I'll be able to talk, so hopefully you'll be able to see me putting all the elements together. Okay, so hopefully you were able to see me putting all the elements together. So seeing the hand placement, seeing how my arms were leaning, obviously seeing where I placed my head on the wheel, and kind of using the frog jump to get up there. And then once you're up, tilting your hips towards the back of the wheel in order to get the balance to stay there. So I also think it's worth trying that once you've gotten up into a solid sort of frog hold, to try and bring your knees together into a full tuck position. It's really good for building some more core strength. So now I'm just going to show you a quick straddle hold. I found it the easiest position to be able to stay in and kind of get your balance for a longer period of time to work on your strength and your endurance. So I really hope all of that was useful and that it helps you get started or progress with your handstand practice. Please do let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to try and answer them. And don't forget to click subscribe. Thank you very much.